Love. Love each other or perish, said Moore, one of the most influential figures when it comes to the topic of love. Moore also happens to be one of the main characters of the novels in this essay is built around. These novels include Tuesdays with Morrie, Man of La Mancha, The Alchemist, The Great Gatsby, The Metamorphosis, and The Thief and the Dogs. From Rania Fouda to Ahab Mansour, individuals who've embraced profound love while excelling in their careers. Yet can their perspectives diverge, particularly between genders? The world is built around many things. Adventures shared, progression of society as generations go by, and most importantly, the dissipation of human morals. However, one thing has remained the same and has held the same resemblance and importance since the creation of Adam and Eve. It is the spontaneous emotion of love. As interesting as all the elements and emotions of life are, love seems to be what captures most, or at least when it comes to books. Even if a novel does not surround the theme of love, an author will simply add an inner plot of love. But why so? Why do we try to incorporate love in all aspects of our lives? Love is intriguing and profound. Today, the meaning of love is subjective for many. However, all have their own idea of what love is, yet fail to understand how society has changed its meaning, and ultimately how it can change people, whether for better or for worse. Love is inexplicable. It's the type of thing you can't put your finger on, a sort of hiding in the back of your head. As unique as all our individual definitions of love are, Morrie from the book Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom offered much more than just a definition of what love is. Morrie was a professor who faced death head-on at the hands of ALS, and his experience led him to the conclusion that love is not just a prominent part of our lives, but absolutely essential to live and die in peace. To him, love was, well, in his exact words, love is how you stay alive, even after you are gone. People these days think you will be remembered for your fame, money, success, and yes, there are a few in a million people that will be remembered for those things. Nonetheless, that didn't matter to Moore. He believed that love is the only rational act. This quote suggests, in the grand scheme of life, love is the only action that makes logical sense. Despite life's complexities, love is a fundamental and rational force that brings meaning and purpose. Looking back to the interviewees, 53-year-old real estate manager Rania Fouda has had her fair share of love. When asked about love, she described it as a...
Stop! Hold it right there. Before we continue, let's introduce both our interviewees properly.
Okay, hi.
Let's go. Hi.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Rania Fouda. I'm a friend of his mom, Marco's mom. Super close friend. I've known her for 30 years. No, a little bit less, 25 years. And I'm very happy to be in this interview, especially that it's about love.
Perfect. And could you tell us about some experiences you have in life, like your workplace and so on and so forth?
Okay, so I'm 53. I've been working since I was 21. So we're talking about, and this is where I met your mom in that first job. So I've been working for 30 plus years, not all the time, because I've been very lucky in my career that I've lived in London, I've lived in Milano, I've lived in Dubai, and I have 2 kids. So when I got my 2 kids, I stopped working for maybe around 5 to 6 years. So let's say overall I've been working for 20 plus years.
Introduce the male as well.
How are you today?
Fine, you?
Great.
Great.
Can you explain who you are for a second?
Okay, my name is Ihab Mansour. I'm 48 years. I am a father for 2 boys. I'm married, of course. I'm the chief executive officer of the company that works in construction. I've been all my life working in construction. I love construction, I love contracting, and that's it. This is what I can say.
Okay, back to Rania describing what love is.
So the first question I have for you is, what do you think love is?
I think love is a very strong emotion that probably sweeps you off your feet. Whether this is a love for your parents, love for your kids, or love for your partner. But it's a very strong emotion. That's what I think it is. Yeah.
Meanwhile, 50-year-old CEO Ehab Mansour described this question as both the easiest and the hardest thing to answer.
What do you think love is?
Okay. Defining love, I think, is one of the hardest questions ever, and the easiest question ever. Okay? It's hard because you cannot have a single definition of love. Love, a parent love is different than a man-woman love is different than a child loving his parent. It's different. But I think the most common thing about love is the ability to sacrifice and compromise happily without feeling that this is an obligation. Once it's becoming an obligation, it's not love. It's becoming an interest, mutual interest. This is what I think about love.
The reason as to why he describes it as difficult is due to the fact that there is no single definition to love. All types of love are different. He, however, believes the common factor in what's love's definition is us knowing the ability to sacrifice and compromise without feeling it becoming an obligation. He describes love as more of a give and take relationship, rather than one sacrifice and resilience. Nonetheless, both explanations show flashes of their beliefs, background, how they were raised, and how their gender might play a role. At the end of the day, it seems love is opinionated. There is no necessarily right or wrong answer. On the other hand, another main part of what love is whether or not it's unconditional. Should we do everything we can for people we love? Is that what really love is? Even if it's holding us back? In The Alchemist, a novel by Paulo Coelho, about a boy with huge aspirations pursuing his personal legend, it was made clear that there should not be a reason for loving someone. One is loved because one is loved. No reason is needed for loving. While it may sound naive, it's not. You should not be able to provide reasons as to why you love the person. It should not be give or take, but rather purely give on both sides. To Rania, unconditional love is familial love, nothing more and nothing less. She says,
Do you think family love is always unconditional, no matter the circumstance or relationship?
Yes, absolutely. Even if you have issues or problems, or for example, I have two teenage kids that are driving me nuts right now, yet I love them.
maternal love, one in many to claim to be the most powerful of all true unconditional love. But what would the father say? On opposite sides, Ehab made a bold claim. Do you believe love should be in all cases unconditional?
لا طبعا. That's not love. This is abuse. أنا I believe إن ربنا خلق كل حاجة هات وخد. خلاص even the feelings. ماشي؟ يعني أنت لما مامتك بترضعك وأنت صغيرة هي ما بتاخدش منك حاجة. بس تاخد منك need. هو ربنا خلقها بإنستنكت المذرهود. المذرهود دي مش هتحصل غير لما يبقى عندها بنت تاخد بالها منها. الأم اللي تاخد بالها منها. فده ميوتشوال. خلاص؟ الباص بتاعك بيشتغل في الشغل بيديكي مرتب، اهلك مش محتاجين مرتب، محتاجين ابريشيشن. خلاص؟ محتاجين يشوفوا انفستمنت تتحول لحاجه. خلاص؟ محتاجين انك ان هيلث واي. بصي مفيش حاجه اسمها unconditional love. مفيش حاجه اسمها unconditional love.
He believes that God made everything in a give and take manner, and that there is no such thing as unconditional love, even when it comes to family, as when mothers have children, they are given motherly instinct and love by God. Even this is a give and take. This is a very unique, interesting, and questionable take on the matter. As more so than a personal philosophy, this is faith, and many do not believe in that faith. Both Rania and Ehab make fair opinions, and in this case, Rania is an absolute believer of love, while Ehab is an absolute believer of his faith, and both are very much indirectly intertwined. On to the more important question of what love really is. Is love part of our life's journey or is it the final destination? There is no answer that can satisfy this question. However, there is one quote that has the right idea. When you can't go back, you have to worry only about the best way of moving forward. This quote from The Alchemist doesn't directly imply anything about love, but the answer is clear. Many people in the world have stayed stuck in the past dwelling on a love for something that didn't love them back or just didn't work out. This happens as a part of who we are, experiencing love with all its ups and downs, and especially the downs. In the case of the interviewees, Rania, although a strong believer in love, stated that
No, it's a part of our lives, and it should always be a parallel track because you are a daughter and a mother and a working person, and you wear many hats. You cannot just let love take over your life. It's a parallel track to your life.
a fair point. There's more to life than love. So many things we do other than just love. And some people don't acknowledge that because they've been convinced of idealistic love, a happy ever after, and unfortunately, that doesn't exist. However, the male perspective has a very different approach compared to the previous one. Ehab claimed that love
An ever changing society comes with its pros and its cons. We have advanced so much both in material things such as technology as well as internal things like our thoughts and behavior. Our surroundings shape the type of person we become, the way we act, and especially the way we think. This change is no different when it comes to values like love, or to be more precise, most importantly, love. While some may think that the definition of what love has become is ever so clearer, most think that its true value has become lost, that the word has just become another overused fad. Maury had a strong grasp of how bad it's gotten, how much it makes us feel like we do not deserve happiness. He said that the culture we have does not make people feel good about themselves, that we're teaching the wrong things, and you have to be strong enough to say, if the culture doesn't work, don't buy it. Create your own. Most people can't do it. A strong message indeed. One that most people almost never acknowledge because they do not want to believe they're weak. That they do not fit into the culture when other people do. For Maury to say we're teaching the wrong things, he wasn't wrong. Culture teaches people math. Culture teaches them about the law. Culture even teaches them about nutrition. Why doesn't society get the chance to teach them about love? Interviewee Rania makes points on how her own society in Egypt has changed in terms of what love is over the years. She says that
So I think the economic instability that's happening in the world, the political instability, what happened to us here in the country for the last 10 to 12 years has made love take a second role.
she quote unquote felt the difference. People became more self-centered, cynical, and most of all, people have begun to perceive love as a secondary thing, not a priority. On the other hand, Ehab instantly brought up romantic love. He mentions the story of how when he was a boy and liked a girl, it was a huge deal. Simply just sending her a heart would be a massive deal. Nowadays, love isn't something you tell someone special.
Okay, I'll tell you a story. When I used to love someone in the school, okay, long time ago, I used to go and stare at her first, okay? Then if I'm very shy to talk to her, I write her a letter or wait her birthday to send a card, okay, and a heart, you know, and this heart is a symbol. No, he loves me. Okay, now see, okay, hearts are distributed over all the social media platforms, you know, sending heart. It was very shameful to tell a girl while I was in school, I love you. I love you means I love you. Now I can tell my friend I love you. It's okay. Okay, it's I love you. The word itself, the word has a great meaning. You know, you cannot say to your friend I love you except unless you are loving her. Okay, because this will be understood. It's a love between a man and a woman, not a love between friend and friend.
The expression, the feeling itself, the way I love my kids isn't similar to the way my parents loved me. He goes on to say that everything has become digitized. Saying the word love on a mobile phone would have been ridiculous a couple decades ago. The problem is he's right. Along with the advancement of technology and entertainment, the feeling of true love began to die with it. It's not just society, but the individual. We all have done bad things at some point. We've sinned, hated someone, hurt someone, and that leads us to believe that we are not capable of being loved, or that we do not deserve it. Maury emphasized this point heavily. He said, the most important thing in life is to learn out how to give love and to let it come in. We think we don't deserve love. We think if we let it in, we'll become too soft. You know, these days, a man should be cold and strong, they say. A woman should be soft and attentive. Women love, men do not. Men bring in money, women bring love. People don't tell people they love them anymore. And if they do, they now tell people that they love them for the simplest of actions, where a simple thank you would suffice. We would rather tell them the strongest possible emotion a human can feel. This is the system that has been put into place, and we have started to become complacent, though we shouldn't. When asked about whether or not people receive and give enough love in today's world, both our interviewees agreed that they do not. Rania more specifically said that
obviously with what we are seeing today, the wars, the conflicts, the challenges that we are having, obviously love doesn't even exist.
with what we are seeing today, all the wars, bloodshed, love doesn't even really exist. She claims it's all just become political agendas and aggression all over the world. On the other hand, Ehab had a very strong opinion on the matter. He says that people do not have time to explain their feelings anymore. We are all slaves. Even the richest person is a slave to his own money, making more money. In the process, we forget about how to express our love.
No, of course not.
Why?
Because they have no time to explain their feelings. We are like, you know, slaves. Everyone is a slave. Even the richest person ever in the world is a slave. Slave for his money, slave for making money. During this, you start forgetting how to love or showing the expressions of love towards the people you are loving them.
Truly tragic. Ehab understands how important love is. And it's not that he wants to pursue material things. It's more so that he has to. He needs to provide for his children. And the world we have today lives in an era where money is king. A man who loves his family but cannot spend time with them. Those children might not be able to understand his love as he's not around, but he is constantly sacrificing for them. An unfortunate truth for many fathers today. The difference in perspective between the two interviewees is really emphasized in this question. As Rania focused on a more violent perspective and political view, Ehab is more personal. He relates back to himself and sees that many people have not lost themselves in the path to keeping their children satisfied. He puts a full focus on family, a true family man. In terms of society and its impact on love, isolation is a major topic of discussion. Those who attempt to relish love and enjoy those they love may become too codependent on that love. Depending all happiness on others can be draining not just on oneself, but on the very people that they love. It's almost impossible to find love and happiness as a balance in a time where individuality is empowering, strong, and free. individuals begin to become alienated from society. This is because of the very thing it preaches. And for society to preach something that isn't healthy, this obviously isn't the first time. In the story Metamorphosis, a novel about Gregory who provided for his family and put them before himself, the same wasn't done for him. While of course, the story portrays this in a weird idea using the body of an insect. The theme comes across perfectly though. The moment he stopped providing for his family, they left him all alone. He goes from being a contributor to being helpless and dependent on them, just like the one is in love. However, in the end, they only searched for ways to get rid of him. He, quote unquote, no longer felt any attachment to his family, and this indifference to them, which was perhaps the most dreadful thing of all, made him very sad. Until the very end, he cared for them, but they had moved on. If one is holding you back, will you still love them? Can you depend on others? Or is the culture right about individualism? In Ranya's opinion,
When you sacrifice a lot for your partner, you can dislike them. It turns against them because
if they do not make the sacrifice for you as well, you will feel disappointed. Rania would go on to say that
your partner should not hold you back. It should push you forward. This is what love does to you.
when does it become too much? Ehab has his own take on this. No. If you have to sacrifice something big for someone, then they do not love you. This is where it becomes an obsession.
No. This is when love hurts. This is one of the disadvantages of loving someone. Okay? He's not loving you. You are loving him. This is what we are calling obsession. This is becoming obsession. Okay? I told you in the very beginning, love when you start making compromise without saying, this is not a compromise or sacrifice. Okay? This is killing your future. This is no, I will not accept it. But I'm saying this because I'm 48 years now. Maybe I would have accepted at your age.
Okay, let's stop there. Enough about our corrupt and greedy society.
Moving away from society, let's talk on the individual. As we grow from exuberant little children to cynical adults, one thing is sure. We change. Not just to our bodies, not just to our minds, but who we are. Our identity. One question remains throughout the course of human history that every single person on this planet has faced. Who am I? Our ever-growing sense of purpose, or more specifically, our pursuit for one, gives us this question with no answer in sight. The truth is, we make our own purpose, our own goals. At the end of the day, the person we grow to become help us define our purpose. But what changes us? A vague answer would be that many things do. However, it is love, in all its beauty and chaos, that help us grow most, whether it's in a positive or negative manner. Many people like to say, you never forget your first love. Whether this refers to romantic love or not, it does not matter. Love can be the beginning of our journey, or the very end of it. The paradox of love lies in its transformative power. A quote from the novel Thief and the Dogs expressed this paradox, stating, "You made me, and now you reject me. Your ideas create their embodiment in my person, and then you simply change them, leaving me lost, rootless, worthless, without hope." This quote goes to show that love, once a guiding force, can also become a source of turmoil when the ideas that shape its essence are altered. The dichotomy of being molded by someone's ideals only to be discarded when those ideals shift can leave an individual adrift, dolefully questioning their worth and purpose. In the path to self-discovery, love's discovery can be both a beacon and a storm, shaping and reshaping the very core of who we are. When asked the question of what role love plays in self-discovery, both Ehab and Rania agreed that it plays a massive role, with Rania stating that
For example, love as a mother. And when I became a mother, it softened me a lot as a person. Yani, as a person in my work, in my career, I used to be extremely sharp, extremely aggressive, extremely outspoken. Some of those characteristics are still there, but they have softened a lot. So being a mother and the love of a mother, for example, has softened you. Because
Ehab had a similar idea, that it changes your perspective and changes how you live, the way we act, whether we want to or not.
No, love tells you what you think, or you've been thinking one day, I cannot do it, but you start doing it. Okay? So sometimes you think that I cannot wake up early, but when you're in love, you wake up early for your girlfriend or for your boyfriend to see her. Okay? Love says that I will not cut my hair ever. Okay? But when your girlfriend or boyfriend tells you no, you discover that you can do things. People who doesn't want to work and he wants to marry because he's very connected to his girlfriend and he wants to marry her. Okay, he will start working. He will start accepting things he will never accept it, or he believes that I couldn't do it. But when he started, when he's in love, he will start accepting the fact or discovering that he can do, even for the parent. Okay.
Again, love changes our perspective of things. A taste of it, too little of it, too much of it. All these things change how we view and perceive things. The reality is, the only person we can blame for how love changes us is no one but ourselves. The only thing that can fully dominate a person's life is love. Whether it's through the love for oneself, the love for others, the love for work, the love for God or a greater power, the love for animals, or even the love of materialistic objects. Love can change people for the worst. Love for oneself can turn a person into an egotistical narcissist. Love for others can turn into obsession and an unhealthy need for reassurance and a weak personality. Love for materialistic things can turn into greed and can turn a person into a showboat. A quote in The Great Gatsby stated, "The officer looked at Daisy while she was speaking in a way that every young girl wants to be looked at sometime. And because it seems so romantic to me, I have remembered the incident ever since." This quote was stated by Nick Carraway, who talked about love connections throughout the novel, The Great Gatsby. For context, Gatsby expresses his feelings for Daisy. However, when the love was not reciprocated, it became a compulsion that soon came after him to hunt him down and eventually kill him.
the person that you are with, again, this is talking about partner's love, not about kids or parents' love, not about family love. If the partner that you are with is controlling, over jealous, selfish, puts himself before you all the time. If he is any of those, if he has any of those characteristics, then he will harm you. This love will harm you.
So you don't think any harm can come from loving your children or any type of other love?
No, definitely not.
Accordingly, love is a two-edged sword. This is why, as good as love is, too much of something is never good. For this reason, moderation of love, just like all other feelings, is extremely prominent. If not, a person will feel isolated and encumbered in this feeling that slowly deteriorates them or their loved one. Love, love, love. How it can be the most draining, yet the most wonderful feeling in the world. How it can encapsulate a person's heart and make it smile all day and night. An aphorism expressed in Man of La Mancha: to love, pure and chaste, from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star for a heavenly cause. This quote gives the sense that Love is what gives a person passion in life. Without love, we are nothing. We love so we work. We love so we succeed. We love so we speak. We love so we buy. We love so we express. We love so we touch. We love so we feel. We love so we pray. We love so we live. Love is the gift God, or whatever greater power there is, has gifted us to give a beautiful flame to the burning world humans live in. No matter how it is displayed, it makes being felt special and felt for.
That if we take out the love for parents and the love for kids, this quote applies. That love always wins, because your love for your kids is something you're built in. You cannot really argue with it. You cannot change it. Love for your parents is the same, but love for a partner,
Says Rania. She believed that a person does not truly understand the feeling of love until they have had a child of their own. This is to her is the love that counts. To her, this is the love that always wins. Ehab, although has different ideas to Rania on the most topics of love, agrees that
Love wins, love always wins. No, love doesn't win, always. Love doesn't always win. I'll tell you why. I have to think about this quote. No, this is very platonic, you know. You know what's platonic? This is a fantasy, I think. No, love doesn't always win. Doesn't always win. Love sometimes, many times, fail. Many conditions, many actions, many socio-economic conditions surrounding you makes love doesn't win. No, I don't agree on this. Even in the absolute. Actually, we've been in wars since we've been created. This is part of, kills the theory in its heart. Sorry, no.
at the heart of mankind is an innate desire for connection. We are naturally gregarious beings. Throughout history, we've built communities and nations to connect with others who share our ideas, values, and goals. One thing is sure: love is real, and at some point, we have all felt it in some way, shape, or form.